Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Today we're going to be talking about visualizers. So we're going to be looking at how you can use a visualizer on your site for either your own products or for the showing of show homes. So we have two different audiences in today's webinar. And so I'm going to try to show it in both ways, why you would want to use a visualizer. So a visualizer, in a little bit of a nutshell before we get started, allows people that come to your website to visualize a product that you're selling. That could either be a singular product, you might be an appliance manufacturer, you might be a cabinet manufacturer, furniture, or you might be a builder and showing the whole home is your product. So you want to show your products as best as they can so the site visitors fully understand what you are selling and can visualize it and also be able to see themselves using that product. So visualizers tell a story about your product more than just a 2D picture would do or any written documents that you have. So we're going to look at the Personal Architect Online Visualizer today to show how it can showcase your products in their best light. Right now on my screen, you can see a floor plan that we've created in Personal Architect Online. So if you were a builder and your product was a whole home, and you had show homes that you've built or that you're showcasing on your website. Looking at the home itself and the options that are available to the homeowner, they want to be able to visualize those. When you have a visualizer on your site, it allows them to go in 3D. So right now I can see the 2D floor plan. I can visualize myself walking in. There's my living room. Here's my kitchen. There's dining room. Bathrooms, looks like a main bathroom and an ensuite and 3 bedrooms. So I can see that and I can understand the flow of the floor plan. But when I switch to a 3D view, it allows me to feel like I'm walking inside the home. So now I'm walking in and I can see the home from different vantage points. So I can feel what it would be like to walk in and go into my living room or walk around inside my kitchen and get that kind of full view and go over into my dining room. If you're allowing for options as a builder, you might be able to showcase the home like this, but using a visualizer, you can show them different material options. So right now, looking at this dining room space that we have in this plan, it's a good example of color drenching. Color drenching is very big right now in interior design. Instead of having light neutral colors, which we might use in a show home because it appeals to everyone, we can use little pockets of color drenching in an online model and change it up. It gives you the ability of, without having to buy gallons of paint, to see what the reaction is to your audience. So here we have color drenched room. It's very dark, it's very moody, and you can see what it's going to look like inside here. I understand that some people are on a little bit of a delay there, so I'll just kind of walk backwards here and come back inside the home. We walked through the front door here and walked in and saw what it was going to look like navigating through the home. So I understand product that the builder is selling. And here's the color drenching example, the very dark, moody dining room. But if it comes down to allowing them to play with the idea, see how their items are going to fit, see what would happen if they changed out materials. The options here on the left-hand side allow you to adjust the materials. So if I wanted to see what that would look like in more neutral colors, I can paint the walls out neutral and see the change that that's going to have. So as a homeowner, that would appeal to me to be able to walk through the space and visualize it and be able to play with the different colors. I would spend some time doing this, investing myself in that home. When you make these available and allow them to change that, your customers remain on your site longer. And the longer they're on your site on a particular link, that shows up well with Google Analytics, keeping people longer on your page, keeping them invested, making sure that the experiences that you're offering are enticing to them and that they speak to them. So they can walk around the space and see different options that they have. So maybe it's even as something like changing out the countertop. So right now I have this marble on, but maybe I wanted to go to a black quartz. So I can see what that black quartz would look like, or the different colors that we have, just pointing and clicking and showing different options that are available. Then they understand exactly what it's going to look like when they make those final choices coming through. Every item in here can be done that way. So I've just done this one countertop, but I can even take, so right now in this model home as well, we've fully tiled the whole wall. Well, what if they only wanted to come up to a certain height? I mean, I could pick on the wall itself, maybe this section right here, and tell it that I want to subdivide that wall out, show all the objects that are on there, and say, I want to cut the tile so that it ends at the bottom of that shelf right there. And say, yes, cut it there. So that when I'm putting in materials now, I might want the material up this high, but then I'll just switch to paint after that and then hit save. So that becomes the new look on that wall. That allows me to visualize what that change is going to make. So maybe full tile wall isn't in my budget. And talking to my sales representative, you want to do some, tweaks and changes. What if we only did half of the wall in tile? Then I get to visualize that and get to see it. And I could save this and I could send this back to my builder once I've saved it and say, okay, the project's good. He can open it up and see the changes. This visualizer allows for direct collaboration. So I'm the only one in it right now, but I could open that up and let everybody in this webinar in, and you could all tour and you could all make changes all at the same time. We're all walking through and changing it as we need to. So it could be you and the client in the same file at the same time. Okay, so they can take that virtual walk through, see all the different rooms that are in. So here's, the main bedroom. Again, an example of color drenching. If you're not into the tangerines and the rust colors that are currently in, you can change that to something a little bit more on the side that's neutral so they can see the difference. The good thing about visualizers as well is if something is no longer in fashion, which happens incredibly fast, you can change it virtually and it costs you nothing. I've just repainted that wall. No time, no effort, just point, click, what's this new color going to look like? And then try something new. You can do that for your model homes, quickly updating them with a virtual view and using a visualizer, walking through the spaces, understanding, there's my closet coming through to my bathroom. And again, getting that moody, drenched look. Or if you want to try something entirely different, try some different tiles in there. Get a look for what it's going to look like if we change that up and started using different color options on the walls and totally change the look and feel of this space with different tile options. So what we have in our catalog could be what you're offering your clients. So these are your choices. You could group them together. This is high end, mid, and low, and see the choices, see what it's going to look like in their floor plan with their choices, walking around as they want to navigate through the space and just go for a little walk and change out those options that you have so they can see exactly what it's going to look like in their plan. So that's one way of using a visualizer. You're selling your product is your home, is the homes that you sell. So you want to show them in their best light and create an immersive experience for your home buyers so they can understand the plan and start selecting the finishes that are available for that particular model or options. We could even navigate over here into the garage. If you get into creating garage spaces that have different products, we can get in down here into equipment and start putting together, a workbench along this wall. And on either side of the workbench, we've got some storage. Put those through. See how it would look with all of the different storage options. These are great possibilities. So that, again, when you're in 3D, let's walk through that door, go to our garage, and see what it's going to look like in here. That's the type of visualization you want to be able to offer. So all aspects of the home can be visualized, walk through, see how it's going to work and function for that homeowner, and make sure that the palette that you're choosing is what they want so that they can see it. I don't like the dark, moody, black tile bathroom. I want bright and airy in the morning to wake me back up. And when I go into my dining room, I want that to be equally as bright and entertaining rather than moody. That's personal preferences. That's something that they can change depending on the options you make available. Now, here you can see that I can move these walls, but they can be locked. I could lock it so they can never change those dimensions. So if it is for a complete home building experience, don't move the walls. That's part of the plan. But you can go inside and change materials, change the flooring, change the countertops, change the paint on the walls, add some tile, make it your own. But the floor plan stays as is. Or if you are a custom builder with plans that you allow them to change, they have the opportunity to change that and maybe stretch this out and make it a triple car garage or whatever options they want to make and changes they want to make, and then save it. And because it's a collaborative experience, you as the builder can go in and see the changes and start to create that estimate as well. Now, the other way to use a visualizer, and I'm just going to go back here into 3D and maybe come back inside the home for more options. If you are, and I know there's a few of you on in our presentation today as well, if you're a product manufacturer. Now, as a product manufacturer, you want to be able to showcase your products. So if I was plumbing products and I had this faucet, I want to be able to show how it looks and feels inside a functioning kitchen, but I also want to gain more information about it so I can look at it from all angles and see it. And we can also create for you a direct link back to your website. So we have two facets for Personal Architect, the visualizer. One, it is a functioning cloud-based design tool that people use for interior design and building. So we'll put your items in our catalog. So when designers are designing, they're using your actual products. And when they click on them, it brings up the information about your product and allows them to come back to your website. So this edit item would be a link to your website. So they can go out and find out the information about it, read upon the specifications, and where can I purchase it? Can happen right there as well. We can also put Personal Architect online on your website. We keep it on our servers, so it's lightweight on yours, but when they're on your website, they click a link, they open it up, where you see Personal Architect. That could be your branding, your colors, your logos. So they're just using the products that you want them to see. So perhaps you are a manufacturer of appliances and you want to be able to see the information about the appliances, what they look like, how they function. So we can build out those blocks for you as well. We also do that for things like windows and doors. So if I look at these doors at the back, clicking on them, we can even make them function. So I can open them up and close them so that you can see how they function and what they look like. When I was back in 2D, you might not have noticed it, but We added animation to the ceiling fans as light. So if you are a lighting manufacturer, we can show your light fixtures and we can show if there is movement involved, how they move. Anything that has movement, a drawer pulling out, a window that opens, a light fan that turns, we can show that animation in there as well. So they see exactly how the product functions and how it looks as well. And we can pull up all of the information about it. So we just click on it, look at its information, and that can lead directly back to you through this link. And I get to see exactly what that item is going to look like. I can zoom in very nice and close and get a full kind of look about everything about this item. So I understand exactly from all points of it how it's going to look. So it's not just a 2D picture where as close as I get, I can zoom in, I can twirl it around. It gives me a very interactive experience for the item that you are selling. Now, and I should have mentioned, following the presentation, I'm going to answer all your questions. So please do type on all the questions that you might have, and then I'll be able to answer them for you as well. We have what we call also a product factory. So I'm going to come back up here and show you how that works with windows as an example. So I'm going to hit custom window here. Most windows, as you know, are custom windows. You order the size and everything that you need in that custom window environment. So here's the window that I'm starting off with. I'm going to change size. I'm going to make that 5 feet wide. I'm going to make it 4 feet tall. I'm going to say that that's 3 panels wide, and I get to build that window out. And it's let's say that's a casement window, so we can see the movement involved in a casing, and we're saying that that's a colonial style of grill, and it's 4 by 4 window. Okay, so we get to see how the colors, the inside versus the outside. So the inside, we're making that a white cream color. On the outside, we're making that kind of a charcoal, but that can be any colors that you want them to be. So my outside material here could be, this color as well. Whatever colors you want them to be, you just specify that color and it makes it happen. And then when you hit properties here, I can call it any name. So I can say this is new window and hit save. So any product that you have that requires piecing things together. So there's options for the elements themselves when we're piecing them together, like that window, there's options. I'll just remove this picture from the wall and put in our brand new window into the bathroom there. And we get to see what it looks like. But our first part of that journey was building it, understanding all the components and options that go into it. And that becomes an educational process too for the person on your website. What options are available? Oh, they're outlined right here. How does it function? Let's just hit play. And then that opens and closes as we want it to. And then if I do want to make any additional changes to it, I can go back into the product factory and change any part of that. So if this is not quite the way they visualize once they get back in their model, we can say, okay, you wanted that to be, 6 foot tall, and then hit save and update it to be a 6 foot tall window instead. So it helps you to visualize that product so they can see it and how it functions in the space along with other products. The files that we create for you, if you don't have your products in 3D format, which is a common question that we get in, how do we begin that process, that journey of putting our products as 3D elements? We do have 3D artists on staff that can take your products and build out the 3D view of it. And then that becomes a file in itself. So that's a separate file, and you have that file as a separate file. It doesn't have to live inside this environment. It's an OBJ file that we'll send back to you that you can put out on your website as well, so that you can just visualize this portion of it or visualize it in the home, what it looks like with other options available too, whether that's changing the materials. Perhaps that lamp is available in 5 different materials and 10 different lampshade options. That's something we'd use the product factory for. Piece those options together, build the custom element that you have, and present it to the client and insert it inside of a room. So when you have that virtual environment like we've built here on the website, whether you're a builder or you're a manufacturer, I want to give a little bit of a preview of, we're also having a webinar tomorrow, how you can use this information. So up on our website, we built a showrooms of different plans that we have. So you get that 2D picture. You can go inside and view the 3Ds that you have. And then when you hit edit this design, that's when it fires up the personal architect online so that it brings them into this environment where they can start editing it. So it's not just pushing these on your website. You can build out your showroom like this so that they can visualize it, see it, start looking at all the different options they have, and then come back and edit it. Okay, so tomorrow's webinar, if you haven't registered for that already, that's going to deal entirely on that show home and what the connectivity is there and how we can take the file, bring it into here, change it, and then send it to our Envisioneer software so that directly, so that it can open it up and manipulate it to finalize the bill of materials and the working drawings for it. But as a homeowner, I'm here, I like this plan. The other thing that they can do while they're in here is create photorealistic pictures. So once they're finished, they can start taking snapshots. So when we take a rendering of the view, we add in the lighting throughout the space to create the photorealistic images. So you can see that the materials take on their properties of high gloss finish countertops. I mean, that could, if that was a suede finish, it would not be reflective. So it does recognize the material properties, the glossy finish on the tile, the stainless steel reflectiveness, and they can download that and share it if they wanted to as well. So they can go into all of the different rooms and all of the different vantage points and start taking pictures. Not only them, as a home builder, this gives you the opportunity to start sharing pictures of your different rooms as well. So these are saved as JPEGs. So you have this JPEG that then you can build up in your gallery on your website. You don't have to go in and do a photo shoot. They can be expensive. This is a photo shoot, virtual. You've staged the space, you've placed all the elements inside the room, and then you just hit render, and it takes 10 minutes to create the rendering. So if you're finding in your analytics on your website that, no one is printing out this bedroom. They come in here and they're constantly changing it, getting rid of the tangerine color. Then your metrics tell you that let's put in a different color to begin with then. So when they begin with their journey, maybe it is a warmer, softer tone and not the color drenching in the more orange and rust colors. So you get those analytics and then you just re-render the space. Doesn't cost you anything, but it tells you a lot of when people visit that particular room. And that's the same here for this dining room. Just did a quick shot of that room from whatever vantage point you want. And it tells the story of the space. It tells the amount of space in that room. It's a very narrow dining room. I wouldn't be able, unless I moved the table over, maybe get 8 chairs in here. At best, I think I can get 7. That tells a story to the homeowner. What if I, rotate the table? What if I get rid of the larger hutch? Then they begin to understand it because seeing it in a 2D floor plan, if there was no furniture in there and it just said dining room, maybe my grandmother's heirloom dining room table will fit in there until they get it in and realize it doesn't. And then there's a problem to deal with. So this way we can move things in try different pieces of furniture and see what works and what doesn't work. So for a home builder, your product, the home, this is an excellent way for people to visualize the home on your website by taking a virtual tour and allow them to personalize the space, filling it with the colors and the accessories and the things that mean something to them so that they can see themselves living in that space or making that final selection of materials. So if the only materials you want them to see are that the different categories of materials that you have, whether it's basic to luxury, and allowing them to see the different tile ranges in the different rooms, it really gives them that opportunity to see it and feel themselves living in it. As a manufacturer, again, it gives you that opportunity to showcase your product in its best light, both while in the designer at designer.personalarc.com and also on your own website. So on your site, they're there, they're looking at the product, they get to view it from all angles and see the 3D view of it, see it in different finishes if that's available, and then drop it inside a room so they can actually visibly see how it's going to function in a space. Excuse me. So what I'd like to do now is answer any questions that you might have about using a visualizer on your own websites, what you need a visualizer for, what products you're trying to market, appliances, lighting, is it cabinetry, or is it the entire home and you're a home builder? And I can answer those questions for you. So let me go down to my questions. Someone was just seeing a black screen. I did see that one to begin with, and I apologize. There might have been a delay there for a bit, but I hope everybody was able to see the entire presentation after that and see how they were working. Okay. Next question. Can you show the lighting using the different fixtures? Okay, so let's have a chat about lighting. So if I look, we've looked at that lamp a lot. So I'm going to look at maybe one of these pendant lights as well. When we're looking at the pendant lights and the lamp itself, right now it's just showing the fixture. And the entire room, when we render it, is washed with light, not directly coming from any of the different fixtures that are there. It is in our future roadmap to look at lighting directly as well, so that each fixture knows their lumens that they're casting from it, and it gives you an accurate portrayal of that fixture in that room at whatever time of day that you have. But right now, it's just looking at the fixtures themselves. We will be adding direct lighting from each fixture in the future as well, so that you understand how every light fixture works and how it is going to work inside the space to add light into that space. And depending on, the wattage of each one of them and the lumens that it casts, we are working on routines for that. But right now, it's just the fixtures themselves. Okay, the next question. How do I add movement to show the different cabinets opening? Okay, good question. We can also, when we're looking at different elements, depending on how it was built, we can show how those are going to move. And I'm just looking to see if any of these cabinets had movement built into it. And let me see if I can find one for you under cabinets. And let me just place one inside the room here. Okay. All right, so I've placed in this cabinet, and when I pick on it, you can see that I can hit play, and that opens a door, and that any elements that are inside it will also play. So you can add movement to cabinets as well. So it's not just the ceiling fan that rotates. We can open doors and open drawers and show the functionality in there as well. It depends on the cabinet line that's in there, um, and what options are available for that particular cabinet line. If the manufacturer wanted to show the movement or not. So yes, you can build that in. Okay, that seems to be the last question that I have today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this project with you. As I mentioned, it is a collaborative experience. So I can share this project with you and you can walk through this same home. So when I send you the link, it will take you to designer.personalarc.com. If you don't have an account yet, it'll ask you just to set up an account. Accounts are free. There's a basic account that's free. There's other accounts that you pay for as well, but you only need the basic account to do the initial walkthrough and visualize the space. So set up the account and then click on that link again that I send you, and that will bring you into this particular model home. So you yourself can walk through and get a feel for how the software works and what options are there for the different manufacturer products or creating the floor plans and the renderings that are in there as well. So you can see the entire project. So following today's webcast, you'll be receiving an email, and in that email will be a link to this project. So you can open it up and visualize it, start touring around and start having that real discussion of how can this be valuable to my site visitors. One is going to keep them on my page longer because they're in an immersive experience. Two, it'll help them to visualize my products better so they can fully understand how it's going to work and how it's going to look inside of a space. And three, if it's just a single product like a lamp or a cabinet inside the personal architect environment, it'll give you a link back to your site. But on your website, you'll get that product knowledge at the end because there are analytics on the back end. One, how many times did anyone insert this one particular type of cabinet? How many times did they delete it and replace it with something else? What is the most popular brand of cabinet or whatever product you have? And what is the least um, favorite product that anyone has put in? Those analytics will help you to shape your marketing material. If you find that no one is ever using one of your products, it tells you a lot about that product. And if someone's always using a particular brand of product, it tells you something else. You can also try switching things up. If you move product B into product A's site, so if I come here to furnish and I go to furniture, maybe everybody's using this 10-inch round cocktail table. Well, that one will tell me they're just using it because it's first. Um, so if I move that down and then all of a sudden this square end table became number one spot, does that change? Or if square, even though it's down here, was the most used table, what does it tell me about that table? So if I look at its information, is it because everybody likes the look of that table? What do I gain from that as well? So we're going to give you back-end analytics about everything that was inserted as well. So you get some real good data from the immersive experience so that you can start to make future decisions as well when you're building those model homes. What colors are people choosing when they're coming in here? What tile is the most important? Where should you be putting your spend to? And what vision do you have for the future based on people's selections? So I want to thank everyone for joining me today. It was my pleasure to show you visualizers and what they can mean for your product, whether that's a singular product or an entire home for your business, and what they can do for the traffic on your website and keeping people in immersive experiences. We will be sending out that email. And if you haven't registered for tomorrow's class, again, it's looking at creating a show home on your website. What is the entire process of getting this up here? and giving a more visual experience so that people can step inside and view it in 360 views, or as we looked at today, go right through and edit that design and walk through an immersive experience as well. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow if you're joining us. And thank you everyone for taking the time for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you in future classes as well. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.